For a fox, you're really not that clever.
You sound just like Dad. Always calling Coyote Lovely the smart son. Let go, let go. Don't let it get to you anymore. Greetings, viewers! Night here, bringing you another commentary. You maybe remember back in March, I did a commentary on a guy named Insane Spyro who ranted about how Pokemon Sword and Shield was going to be bad, all because he didn't like the first trailer for the games. Well, a month ago, another commentator named Limbo Fast Frame did a response video to that commentary, and because I still have a bit of time before October starts, I felt I would put out a response commentary of my own. Before I get to the actual video though, allow me to point out what a masterpiece his thumbnail is. My thumbnail copy-pasted in all its pixely glory, with a melon photoshopped over the word fox, and the PNG of a some sort of logo, and a JPEG of a Beedrill, covering up the title of my video on the bottom there. Gorgeous. You know, when I did my own video on Spyro, I tried to come up with a thumbnail that I felt would be visually engaging and capture people's attention. Here might may vary. I didn't just take his thumbnail and slap a whole bunch of stuff on it. And that's a theme I see with a lot of Limbo's thumbnails, starting with his commentary on the co-op between MTR and Smith. Okay, now on to the actual video.
I am Limbo Fast Frame, servant of the Lotus, and today we have a video by another commentator by the name of Night Tie. About a month ago, someone by the name of Insane Spyro did a rant on the Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer, which in turn was responded by our foxy friend here, which I'll be covering. Guess it was a matter of time before it covered something to do with Pokemon. So with that out of the way, let's begin.
For recording quality, background music that at times will overpower arguments, and loud obnoxious music for the first transition.
Oh, baby, a triple!
Let me give you the rundown. So, first of all, it looks nice. It looks like Let's Go, except with a couple of more shaders. The lineless mod's still there. Everything looks great. I think we were definitely expecting that from the Switch game, and no one was really going to be like, oh, what? But the rest, though, it's kind of the problem that a lot of the modern games have, even if it is not a live service like Apex Legends or 76, where I don't know why I said Apex Legends, Anthem. It's the same problem as Anthem. It's like, look at this amazing, stunning world you can fly around in your Iron Man suit. Well, yes, thank you, Mr. Pokemon Company. That is an amazing, very nice looking world that I can fly around in my Iron Man suit.
Wait, are you honestly comparing Sword and Shield to the Iron Man games?
I said it in your comments and I'll say it again. He was referring to Anthem, you friggin' melon. And while I know you're in no way interested in Anthem, you could have at least watched the trailer for it to make sure you didn't say something completely idiotic.
So, even though I didn't know that Anthem is a game, I was supposed to know that there was a trailer for it out there prior to making my video on Spyro. Okay. Oh, and my confusion about Spyro rambling on about Iron Man is idiotic rather than uninformed, apparently. Didn't know that Spyro was being kind of mumbly at this part of his video. You know, you gotta point out what Iron Man had to do with Anthem, but hey, getting indignant at my confusion works too, I guess.
We get to see a glimpse of the starter Pokemon, and all of the starter Pokemon, in my opinion at least, look pretty bad. A lot of people are comparing the Fire Bunny to the Arcade Bunny from the Nintendo Switch Arcade, or the Star Bunny from Mario, which I can fully agree with, because goddamn, do they look like they're out of ideas.
Oh boy, it's that's right and true. Game Freak is totally out of original ideas for Pokemon designs argument. You know, the argument that's kind of made fun of nowadays? Now, someone pointed out to me that he probably said that because Jokestars are a rabbit and a monkey, and we've already had Pokemon based on those animals. If that is what he's saying, there are numerous animals that have the same species. After all, we've had numerous Pokemon that were based on birds, fish, snakes, and butterflies. So why would I turn it's a rabbit or a monkey be an issue? You don't even bring up Sobble, which could easily be a water-type chameleon. Lastly, that word about Sword Bunny. I'd like to see those comparisons, since anecdotal evidence will cut it.
Calls out Spyro for using anecdotal evidence. Well, a few seconds ago,
Oh boy, yes, that's right and true. Game Freak is totally out of original ideas for Pokemon designs argument. You know, the argument that's kind of made fun of nowadays?
way to be hypocritical, you melon.
Goddamn, do they look like they're out of ideas.
So, I'm at a loss as how you missed what I was responding to here. I made that claim based on what Spyro himself said in regards to the Pokemon designs, when, you know, we only saw 3 new Pokemon at the time. People started saying Game Freak was out of ideas back when Gen 5 came out, because it felt like a pseudo-reboot of the franchise, due to there being so many Pokemon that felt similar to previous generations of Pokemon. And it's an argument aimed mostly at the Vanillite and Trubbish lines. Just go onto the internet, and I assure you, you'll find some forums or worst Pokemon design videos where Game Freak is out of ideas is said somewhere. An example would be a video Sonic made back in 2014 2014. Even if they don't say those exact words, the attitude should be pretty obvious.
Irrelevant.
That when you make 900 Pokemon, because remember, we're going into the 900s now, it's clear when you make 900 of the bastards that you're obviously going to run out of ideas. The pool is drying up, and we're getting to Digimon levels, where they were like, let's make 1,000 Digimon per season, so now we're in like, oh, there's Burgermon, which is literally just a hamburger, or there's fucking Pencilmon, which is just a pencil. It's going back to the 5th generation. Ooh, it's going back to the 5th generation problem, where it's like, here's an ice cream and here's a trash bag, because we're so bankrupt on ideas.
Universe based on New York, and New York is known for producing a lot of trash. So it makes sense that there's a Pokemon based on garbage. You know, people bitch about all the time about Garbodor, but I've never seen anyone complain about these. Just because the design isn't visually appealing doesn't mean that it's uninspired.
I probably would if you told me where they're from. But in all seriousness though, what is the point of bringing them up if you're just gonna pop them on screen without any context? If you're gonna do that, at least say where these characters are from.
Can I just say how much this feels like a nothing interjection? It honestly feels like the only reason you made this interjection is because you got annoyed that I made a joke about other pollution-themed monsters that you didn't understand. See, Digimon has these two characters named Rareemon and Garbagemon, which are based on pollution and came out long before Garbodor was even a thought. Despite being ugly, I've never heard anyone complain about their designs.
And then we get to all the other things that we saw within the trailer itself that he didn't address, but were there nonetheless. Like when he walks into the grass, we see that it is the do-do-do-do-do flash random Pokemon appears, which I think is now a downgrade from Let's Go. I much prefer seeing the Pokemon on the Overworld. It made the Pokemon, or it made the world, I should say, it made the world feel a lot more alive, because it's not just a bunch of people standing around with nothing happening. There are actually Pokemon in the grass or in the trees. You can see them flying around. It makes the world feel more immersive. It makes it feel like an actual living, breathing world. There's stuff going on, whereas now it's back to the dead fields with nothing in.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire already had a similar feature.
I think we've got a difference of opinion on that one.
Hey, what's that from? I don't get the reference you're making. Don't make references unless I understand them. Yeah, see how I'm interjecting just to say, I don't get what you're referencing is? You could tell if there was a Pokemon at a patch of grass, and you had to make your way over to your target without triggering a wild encounter. The tall grass sort of serves as a means to encounter wild Pokemon by surprise. Now, if you don't want to go through wild encounters, repels are always on sale at the Pokemon, which can now be found at Pokemon centers.
First, the Ruby and Sapphire thing was only in one generation, therefore that doesn't really count.
Why? Because it isn't the exact same thing as Pokemon Go? Because I never said it was the same thing, just similar. You could still see where Pokemon were in the Overworld. Even then, in the demo of what we saw a few months back, Pokemon will indeed be walking around the Overworld. So Spyro's fears were rather unfounded.
Second, what was the point of bringing any of that up like he doesn't already know that? This doesn't change the fact that those games still have, as Spyro put it,
going on, whereas now it's back to the dead fields with nothing in.
Yes, but Spyro was going off of the trailer and making assumptions about what the actual game was going to be like. Though I'll admit my spiel about repels was rather unneeded. I have to ask, would Pokemon in the Overworld really add anything other than visual appeal? You have to take into account all the coding that would be needed, and the developers clearly thought that all that coding was unnecessary.
First, a massive oof for how horribly this point aged. Second, he explained why this is important before you interjected. And it's kind of reductionist to say Pokemon in the Overworld is nothing more than visual appeal, especially considering that would be understandably forgiven in a handheld game is not so easily done for a console game, which is a generally higher standard of quality, especially in the visual department.
I'll give you that argument hasn't aged well, due to what I just showed you, but does this livestream you mentioned in text have anything to do with your point? I went to your description, and couldn't find anything other than a link to your new Twitter, and creating arts for the fan art you used. If you were going to mention a livestream that would have helped your argument, you should have linked that as well.
Say goodbye to daily stains and dirty surfaces with new Kitchen Gun.
This sink is filthy, but just 3 shots from Kitchen Gun, and it sparkles like new!
Okay, I didn't point this out earlier, but some of Limbo's skip screens tend to go on longer than needed. In this one alone, you could have just cut back to the original video, and as soon as the guy said, Kitchen Gun, that way people would have still gotten a laugh without the video having felt dragged out.
But more importantly, I just want all the shit that people have been asking for literally years. I want full customization, not just a fucking, oh, you can get a red t-shirt, or you can get a yellow t-shirt, or if you're very good, you could get a green t-shirt. I don't want just generic t-shirt customization. I want the full works. Like, you see all of these trainers wearing these fancy coats and boots, and sometimes like the Pokemaniacs, the Charizard and Slowpoke costumes. I want to see the full customization.
Okay, I admit I would like to see more customization myself. However, there's something you need to realize here. A lot of the outfits worn by NPCs are made specifically for them. It pertains to their trainer class, and the player's character is meant to be a blank slate. Now, you got to be a Dragon Master or a Fire Breather simply because you wear the outfit. Now, true, you get to wear a Team Rocket uniform in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but that's so you can sneak in a Golden Tower since it was taken over by the Clan Group. And while in Gen 4 games, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Dubois suit, it's basically from when you enter contests. My point is that, yes, while you can change clothes in some games, it's usually only good in certain circumstances. Alright, another issue here. Limbo just let full interjections from previous degrees play out when he doesn't really need to. For example, he could have easily interjected here to make his point. I doubt you could be a Dragon Master or a Fire Breather simply because you wear the outfit. But waits until mine is done completely just to make a singular argument.
You are not making a good case when you say,
and the player's character is meant to be a blank slate.
isn't it all the more reason for player customization? Also, is there something in the Pokemon lore that says it's some sort of massive taboo to wear clothes that don't pertain to your trainer class?
Okay, but what Spyro wanted was for the player character to wear stuff like the Pokemaniac and Dragon Master costumes just because. And my point was that you only wear certain outfits in the games due to specific circumstances, which you seem to have ignored.
Because if not, I'm not convinced that's a good enough reason to deny player customization, especially if the outfits would be considered non-canon. And as if he asked for Pokemaniac costumes to give you fire-breathing powers or whatever, just the ability to wear them.
I didn't know Pokemaniacs could breathe fire. Pretty sure I mentioned fire breathers though. I don't remember Spyro saying anything like that either. Whatever. I'm sure this won't be an issue later.
I want to see randomizers, Nuzlockes, different difficulty settings for the veterans, because as somebody that played all 7 generations, I don't need to sit there with the starter again and learn how to catch Pokemon again for the 7th fucking time. As a veteran player, I know how to catch Pokemon and I don't need to go through this bullshit tutorial.
You know these games were originally aimed at kids, right? And yes, I know that veterans will probably buy the new games, but my point is, the tutorial is there for new players, which will most likely be kids that are new to Pokemon. Also, yeah, I'm sure Game Freak will totally make Nuzlocke a thing in the official games. From what I understand, a Nuzlocke is far more challenging than the official games, wherein if all of your Pokemon faint in a battle, they've technically died, and many players would consider that a game over. There's also the fact that if you KO a Pokemon in the wild while playing a Nuzlocke, the rules prevent you from capturing any other Pokemon in that area. I really doubt anyone who wants to buy an official Pokemon game would want to run the gambit of an official Nuzlocke, mainly because it means they would have to play the game over and over again, whenever their entire team would get beaten.
Implying being a child-centric franchise is any justification for not giving an option to skip tutorials. Emphasis on option. Unless you wanted to insinuate children are too dumb to decide whether or not they need a tutorial for a game they're playing for the first time.
Mighty Nice really enjoys the heavy metal you got going on there. Who needs to hear your point when you can piss off anyone who's using headphones while watching your video, am I right? Also, I never implied anything like that. My counter-argument was that Spyro was starting to come off as an entitled veteran Pokemon fan, demanding that Game Freak give him what he wants. You'd have picked up on that too, if you just listened to the tone his voice is taking. P.S. I never said I think kids are dumb. I said the tutorial is for newcomers to the franchise, which tend to be kids. Learn to listen when I'm actually saying it, throwaway bumble scrub.
I mean, I know people are already hyped. I've seen a few people saying that they already know what starter they're going to have. That's great. But for me, I will not be indulging unless they come up with something really good really quickly. Like, again, a randomizer, a Nuzlocke, something to keep the veterans coming back.
Those things are fan inventions. Again, if you knock out a wild Pokemon in a specific area, you can't catch any other Pokemon in that area. And if your entire team is beaten in a battle, you most likely would have to start all over again. It's those kind of rules that would make an official Nuzlocke really frustrating to anyone new to the franchise. And I doubt any game that did that would sell all that well. Like it or not, Nintendo is a company, and their main goal is to make a profit, not pander to an adult fan base.
While I do agree that Nuzlocke seem too niche to be worth implementing officially, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. He did say to make it Nuzlocke optional, therefore it wouldn't really hurt new players who don't want to do it. Or better yet, they could have Nuzlocke in a lockable mode after beating the main quest.
Okay, but why would Game Freak do this from a marketing perspective? What incentive would they have to put a Nuzlocke in an official Pokemon game, even as an unlockable mode? And what incentive would the player have to play through this mode more than once? I mean, like I said, if your team gets beaten in a Nuzlocke, they're dead. Even if you were to save your game before you unlock this feature, I can't imagine it being a popular addition to the game. At least with the Battle Tree, we can speculate that it was Game Freak making up for not giving us the Battle Frontier and Oras. And yes, people are still complaining about that. And the Battle Tree functions in the same way, collecting battle points after each successful battle, and then using those points to claim prizes like the Mega Stones. Why would anyone want to go through a Nuzlocke that was part of an official Pokemon game more than once unless there was some sort of goal to be obtained?
And that's the end of that. To be honest, this wasn't that bad of a video. But by the void, Beedrill has some bad points. Range from blatant inability to use basic context clues, to blatantly putting words in his mouth.
You know these games were originally aimed at kids, right? And yes, I know that veterans will probably buy the new games, but my point is, the tutorial is there for new players, which will most likely be kids that are new to Pokemon.
Implying being a child-centric franchise is any justification for not giving an option to skip tutorials. Emphasis on option. Unless you wanted to insinuate children are too dumb to decide whether or not they need a tutorial for a game they're playing for the first time.
Claims I blatantly put words in Spyro's mouth, blatantly puts words in mine earlier in the video. Unself-aware hypocrite cough! Oh, I'm sorry. See, there's just this little bug going around. Gonna be honest, I saw this video coming. Didn't know when, but I knew it was. Nimbo, this was bad. And for multiple reasons. The prime example being your horrible attempt at audio balancing. I know you said in your description you tried to fix it, but...
You should have tried harder!
You also misunderstood several of my points, and ended this all by saying I was putting words in Spyro's mouth. Did I make a few assumptions? Yes, that's possible, but Spyro himself made even bigger ones, which you didn't really get onto him for. Just me. Lastly, I would say speed up long segments from multiple degrees from now on, so your videos don't feel dragged out. I know I had to when editing this. With all that said, this is Night saying thanks for watching, and please share your thoughts with me.